Welcome, everyone. I'm sure a couple people will still be jumping on here, but we'll just get started just for the sake of time. Um, uh, just for introductions, my name's Trent. I'm sure a lot of you know me, but I'm Trent Thibodeau. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a senior care navigator here at the health plan. Before we go any further, I'd like to let everyone know that this event is being recorded for our future learnings and reflection. Today's event is a very special one as it centers on the lived experience of Mohamed Anwar, or Anwar for short. Anwar is a Rohingya community leader, the first ever certified medical interpreter for the Rohingya language in the US, and co-founder for the Burmese Rohingya Community Center of Wisconsin, or the BRCW for short. So with us today, we're really lucky. We have both Anwar and Andrew Trumbull, co-founders and co-directors of the BRCW, to share their experience serving with the Burmese and Rohingya communities. Quick disclaimer, as we like to do when we start our meetings here, all programs and initiatives and resources are open to all employees. Membership and resource utilization is wholly voluntary, and opinions and experiences within a community cannot be represented by one single source. Therefore, any perspectives expressed or information presented are shared in the spirit of reflecting and deepening understanding through lived experiences and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the company or any of the group of its employees. Should you have any questions, please reach out to us, and our emails are listed on your screen. As we move into today's conversation, it's important to set the stage for how we'll engage together. This is a safe and inclusive workspace for us all to have a reflection and conversation. The stories we hear today may touch on sensitive or deeply personal topics such as trauma, mental health, immigration, war, violence, and discrimination. Please, as always, take care of yourself and step away if it's needed. The information presented today is being shared with the intent to deepen our understanding of the complex histories and unique challenges faced by these communities, and how these factors may contribute to negative health outcomes. Ultimately, this helps us explore how we can serve our members better. I ask that we approach this conversation with respect and with empathy, both with listening and with sharing. Your presence and your participation matter. By engaging in this conversation, we deepen our understanding with the communities we serve and strengthen our ability to approach care with humility and respect for all lived experiences. So for the agenda, now we kind of got the disclaimer out of the way. We welcome everyone and set the stage for today. We're going to begin our learning with the BRCW. Afterwards, we will have time for a question and answers opportunity, so feel free to add your question in the chat throughout the conversation, or you can wait until the end. And again, we'll be presented with that option as we come up to it. And now, without further ado, what we're all here for, our guests of honor, and it's really an honor to introduce them. Please welcome Andrew and Anwar, the co-founders and co-director of the BRCW. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Thank you so much, Trent. It's really been a pleasure working with you guys to put this whole presentation together. We're going to take you on a journey and talk about what happened in Burma and how the Rohingya have made it here. So we're going to give you a brief overview of the political climate and the events that led to the Rohingya genocide. Anwar will talk about how he made his journey here to Milwaukee and how most Rohingya have made it here. And we're going to cover topics on health and language, interpreting and cultural orientation along the way. So we hope you find this informative. So we got together about a decade ago. I was a tutor and working with Burmese refugees in an after-school program, and I met Anwar, who had recently arrived, and we got together and formed an organization. That's why we're here. So we'll talk about kind of that process and kind of the needs we were trying to fill. Rohingya refugees face a gamut of barriers to accessing services here. very few arrived educated or literate in any language. And so making your way, making your new life as a resettled refugee requires a lot of help. And so interpreters are worth their weight in gold for these types of communities. And so Anwar, who is a career interpreter before arriving here, had his work cut out for him and has stepped up every day and worked really hard to help everybody that comes and asks him for it. When we met, we formalized our organization basically around that, around Anwar's ability to communicate with this community, to communicate with our community, and to get things done. And before we had anything in terms of like brick and mortar or establishment as a nonprofit or a charity, we had a dream of creating a one-stop shop for the Rohingya community, a community center where they could find all their needs met. And so we're really happy to report that about 4 years ago we purchased the building that we're in today and have launched our community center and are able to really start doing the things that we've set out to do at a greater scale. Thank you so much, Anwar, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today. And also thank you all the participants, for listening to us. I don't have experience to talk to a big crowd of people. So if sometimes I feel panicked, please forgive me, understand, patient with me, So, my name is Mohamed Anwar. I am a resettled Rohingya refugees. I came in United States in the middle of 2015. And then, so I came here, and then before I came, I was in Malaysia. I came from Malaysia. Since in Malaysia, I was helping my people there, as an interpreter. I was working with a lot of INGOs, UNHCRs. And then when I came here, people, before I came here in 2015, there were a lot of people already arrived before me, and there was no one, to help them for their, day-to-day lives, day-to-day needs. So when I came here, they were so happy to see me, Anwar came, a little, among the Rohingya community who can speak a little bit of English, so they were so happy to see me here. And then after I came, I met here my brother Andrew, and then we start forming these organizations. Thank you so much.
All right, so now we're going to play a quick video about the BRCW and the services that they provide. Please let me know if you can't hear or if the volume is too low or too loud. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Anwar.
And we're the co-founders and directors of Burmese Rohingya community of Wisconsin.
Let's start from the beginning, first, Well, okay, I came here in the middle of 2015, right? June of 2015. Even before I came, I came from Malaysia. I was in Malaysia working with United Nations, working with the US government, Department of Homeland Security as an interpreter. So many people came here, they know somehow because, I acted as an interpreter overseas, And when my turn come to here, the Milwaukee people know here, that I'm coming, and they were so happy. They're so happy because Again, they have some problems. If he comes, he will help us in reading the English, explaining the meals, letting us know what is the check look like, all this kind of stuff, And I met people here, and then
they started lining up.
They keep coming to my house, okay, with the letters, with the mails, please help us read this, please. And I myself are familiarizing with a lot of stuff here, when I came here. And some people come and said, hey, the UMOS, the government says they will send me the check for my rent. I didn't receive check. It's been 3 months, 4 months. And I said, where are all the mails, And then it were in the dustbin. And I say, bring all the mails, And I say, oh yeah, this is the check here. And I said, look, they never saw a check. I never see the check as well. This called the check. This is how a check looked like. And he was complaining, not receiving the check for 3 months. You see, and every day there are a lot of people coming. So, and then one day, this gentleman here, I came in United States with my brother. It's a minor brother, around 14 years old. And then my brother studied in a school for ESL classes, okay, and he was the teacher there. So one day he came to my home, with my brother, and we talked, and I was so happy that, he met a Rohingya refugees who can speak a little bit of English, and I explained to him, and he saw these kind of things, and we discussed about the idea of forming an organization so that we can help them in more, meaningful ways, and then we come up with idea to create an organization, 501c3 organizations, and we choose a name. We didn't mention only Rohingya, because other minorities from Burma, it will see in a different way. Oh, these are only Rohingya organizations. So that's why we put Burmese first. Burmese include all the minorities there. Okay, since I'm Rohingya, I put the Rohingya too, and then before the Rohingya, I put Burmese. So that means people, all the minorities came from Burma, also represented by these organizations. So we put Burmese Rohingya community, and we are in Wisconsin. We're in Milwaukee, but Milwaukee is in Wisconsin. So we have other small community living in Sheboygan, living in Oshkosh, living in other area. So we didn't put Milwaukee, because sometimes we go there and we have them too, So we call Burmese Rohingya Community of Wisconsin, and we registered. We don't have any office. Okay, I came new, and I have family. I need to work, and within 1.5 months, I got a job with a rural hospital as an interpreter. So most of the things we do, during weekends or after work hours, So we run this organization from our computers, from our basements, from our suitcase. We don't have a lot of resources. And then the words spread, the community knows, keep coming, and then now we need an office. So we rented an office in 2018 near the airport, because at that time I'm living in Bayview. So I think we had that office for around 1.5 years. We did not raise enough money to pay the rent, so we had to let it go. Okay, and then again we are back onto the same situations, right? And then again, the population is growing. Okay, they need a place to pray. They need a place to come, and this building is up for sale in 2021, I think.
What was I doing when we met? I just moved to Milwaukee myself too, about a year before Anwar arrived. That was in 2014. I started volunteering with a neighborhood program that served mainly Burmese kids, and I saw them making really big leaps and strides in their English. I was running a language lab using English language software, and so I had a lot of data coming in about their progress. during that time, there was not one Burmese adult, like their parent, that I could have a conversation with. And as Anwar mentioned, I was happy that here's a Burmese adult that I could talk to. Um, and one discussion led to another, and the decision to formalize, the organization, to incorporate into a 501c3. Even though we didn't have really any money or really anything, it was something that we always kept sticking to. Once you build stuff, it doesn't go away. And the people asking for help from Anwar didn't go away either. I mean, they lined up and continue to line up. And to this day, 10 years later, they continue to line up. We're just getting a little bit better at helping more and more people in more and more ways. And it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of time that's put into it. But I think we found some measure of success, at least being able to keep this building up and running and serve hundreds of people every week. So here at the BRCW Religious Education and Cultural Center, we don't just focus on one thing. Mm-hmm. We try and serve all the needs of this community with pretty limited capacity, money, and staff, and stuff like that. Within these walls is a full-service mosque that's open 365 days a year for 5 times daily prayers and additional programming like after-school classes for kids. You serve as an interpreter every day, helping your community with any kind of bureaucratic stuff like filling out forms for licenses, healthcare, houses, jobs, court cases, you name it. Mm-hmm. When people come that aren't able to read and write or submit the documents, it's something that you help them with, right?
Also training, for anger management, parenting classes.
Right, the part of the court services that you're doing, yeah.
We do this together, with the cooperation with Dr. Sebastian's clinic.
Yeah. We also have classrooms to teach English, to teach citizenship, starting digital literacy stuff. So we're doing laptop distributions and online classes that we have available too. We have a food pantry and a kitchen. We host community events, gatherings. From the health side, we work with medical students. We create content, health videos in Rohingya and Burmese. We do screenings. So there's a lot of work that we do on a daily basis. I think we started talking about creating this entity within about a day or two of meeting. And that was about maybe a week or two after Anwar arrived in this country. And the most amazing thing is that when we purchased this building, about 5 years after Anwar arrived, he wasn't even a citizen yet. He was still a green card holder. And the amount of work that he's done for his community even before he became a citizen is remarkable. So yeah.
Even when I have this willingness or desire to help my community, if I don't have help from him or from any other good Americans, I cannot do this by alone. Because as you said, I was new. I don't know about all these kind of things. That's why he is my brother from a different mother and father like this.
That was awesome. Did Andrew or Anwar, do you have anything to kind of add in with the video there?
No, I think we can keep going.
Awesome.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. I'm going to give you guys an overview of what's been going on in Burma or in Myanmar. So Burma is a country that is on the border of South and Southeast Asia. It's sort of a buffer country between different peoples, religions, ethnicities. Burma itself has, I think, over 150 ethnicities, over 100 living languages. And what's transpired over the years, you've had many different peoples coming in and out. After Burma gained its independence from Great Britain, which basically colonized the entire Indian subcontinent, Arakan, or Rakhine State, where the Rohingya are from, if you see on the western side of the country, was subsumed inside of Greater Burma. But since then, that was in 1948, Burma has really struggled to form a cohesive government. And given that there's so many different ethnicities and languages, it has been really unsuccessful in keeping things together. If you see the middle of the country, that teal color, that's where the greatest population density is. It's the Irrawaddy River Basin, which is primarily Buddhist and primarily Bamar, or the largest Burmese ethnicity. Surrounding it like a horseshoe are most of the ethnic and religious minorities. And those are also very hilly and mountainous regions. And this is common in Southeast Asia when groups that don't conform with the majority often go to the hills where survival is easier and oftentimes maintained for centuries. So the Rohingya are on the other side of a big mountain range from the Irrawaddy River Basin. And so to access Arakan or Rakhine, you'd have to go all the way to the south and then come around, you see that yellow part. And so over the millennia, most of the traders and the people that the Rohingya would come across were from India and Bangladesh or by the sea. So traders from the region. And so you see those influences in Rohingya culture. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of geography and understanding kind of where they are and where they come from. Anwar, do you have anything to add?
Yes, thank you. So mostly I would emphasize about the Rohingya populations. So the Rohingya populations, as you see in the map, the yellow part, border into the Bangladesh. That's where most of the Rohingya people, 100% of the Rohingya people live. Actually, this land is Rohingya people's, ancestral land. We have two big ethnic minorities there, two major ethnics. One is Rohingya, another one is Rakhine. So the whole, Rakhine state is now under Arakan Army, which is a Rakhine rebellion group. Now, before Rohingya were persecuted by the military junta, but now it is under Arakan Army, AA. So now they're the one who are, inflicting all this violence, to the Rohingya.
So after Burma gained independence, the leader of that independence was Aung San, who's actually Aung San Suu Kyi's father, the Nobel laureate crusader for democracy in Burma. After that happened, the military took over the government, and minorities such as the Rohingya have really seen a higher and higher and higher level of persecution as the years went on. The map here shows an aerial of the Rohingya villages that have been destroyed. This was in 2017 after a huge flare-up took place where basically it was like a perfect storm of ethnic cleansing. The government has been enacting these discriminatory policies for years, for decades, denying citizenship, denying access to education, to work, not allowing folks to move freely across the country, extortion, overtaxation, slavery, you name it. The gamut of human rights abuses have been faced by the Rohingya, which has led to ethnic cleansing and genocide. and for them to be labeled the most persecuted people in the world. This has obviously led to a refugee crisis, and most Rohingya worldwide are in diaspora. I think more than 80% of your people have fled the country. And if they were to do another map like this, you'd probably see a lot more red dots. I don't think I'm going to go into any more detail.
Yeah, so let me, again, we Rohingya people are once recognized as the citizen of our country before the Aung San was assassinated, before the World War II. But after the World War II, after Aung San was assassinated, so the new military government draw a law, we call it 1982 citizenship law. So according to this citizenship law, they deny us our citizenship. Since then, we are subject to persecutions. We call it slow burning genocide. It was happening since then, but the world knows when there is a mass killings, mass exodus from Rakhine State to Bangladesh. All these villages, red dots, there is no villages at all right now. So they burned down all the villages. It's only bushes there. They took away our farmlands. They took away our livestock, kettles. And then chased them away from the country. Now 95% of the 85% of the people are now living in the world largest republic. But we still have some people living inside Rakhine State, but their situation is very dire. They don't have food. They don't have a job. They don't have they don't know where to go if they are sick. So the situation is very dire, both inside and outside of the country.
Thank you so much for continuing to share, and now we'll have a video to continue to expand on this too.
In this segment, we're going to talk about your people, the Rohingya people. They're from Myanmar, Burma, from Rakhine State, which used to be called Arakan, and historically that's where your people are from. So Anwar, how do Rohingya make it to the United States?
Well, first of all, Rohingya are a people, around 4 million people living in one of the states in Myanmar. So we are an ethnic minority living there, since 6th century, 7th century. From that times, until today, Rohingya, are considered as, as not regarded as their citizens. Rohingyas are subjects of several kinds of persecutions. Forced labor, restriction of movement, high taxations, and Rohingya, fled to Bangladesh. So the last exodus was happening in 2016 or 17. So now all these people are living in Bangladesh refugee camps. I think estimately around 1.4 million people are living, including my families. I have around 60 family members living in refugee camps. My brothers, sisters, they are family members. So since so some of the Rohingyas made their way to Thailand, to different countries in Southeast Asia, like Malaysia, India, other countries. Here I would like to talk about a little bit of healthcare. In Burma, when we're living there, we don't have access to the healthcare at all. So there is only one hospital. This is not a hospital like here. This is like 2-story building. with not a lot of facilities, not a lot of things, but we call it hospital. And we have some local doctors, which is very few. So many people rely on their knowledge that they got from their parents, and they got from their parents, like a really like a traditional kind of things,
Right.
religious kind of things, people, there is zero, neonatal care, there is zero, what do you call, delivery, women giving birth care, cancer care, kid, there's nothing. Even, you cut, and then we stop this with the leaves, we stop this with the sands of the moss,
Natural
even
remedies.
natural
Right?
remedy kind of things, there's no blood draw, there's no, what do you call, urine test or anything, it's like there's no, pregnancy care. We have some midwives in the village, one or two, who are again trained traditionally. There's no medicines. There is a, once you give birth, you have to confine yourself for 40 days, in a small room. There is a fire to heal your own,
So the Rohingya language is one of the easternmost Indo-European languages in the world. It's from the same language family as English, and a host of others. It's primarily a spoken language. Rohingya used to have an alphabet and a script in use, but the Rohingya language has suffered and has seen a big decline. Rohingya in Arakan, they teach the language to their kids. If they want to learn Burmese, they would need to go to a Burmese school, which is largely unavailable, which is primarily why most Rohingya are illiterate, because they can't find literacy in their own language, and they can't find literacy in the language of their native homeland. This adds to the other challenges to do with lacking education, work experience, the discrimination, the health impacts, and everything else. And it creates a set of barriers that make it very difficult to even communicate at a basic level. So the persecution of the Rohingya people is such an extent that it's been called, your people have been called the most persecuted people in the world. You've had your culture decimated. Your people have fled Burma from violence and rampant discrimination. Your language is probably dying faster than any other language in the world right now, because it's not written, and the kids are learning whatever languages wherever it is that they are. The Rohingya people are devoutly religious. That's one of those things. The food that you eat, the language that you speak, the clothes that you wear, and the way that you are things that cannot be taken away. And those are the things that we're trying to rebuild here, right?
All right. Yeah, and then we'll continue on with Anwar's journey.
Hey, go ahead.
Hello, this is Anwar again. So my journey starts, I'm not going into details because I cannot hold back my tears if I go into details, So my journey, I was in the Rakhine State in my town when an incident happened. They made me, they made me leave from the country. I believe around, around 2000s, So I left, from the country. This is the first time I was, leaving behind my parents, my families. I'm the eldest in the family. So in our culture, if something happens to your father, the responsibility is on the eldest son to take care of the families, So when I am leaving the family behind, it feels something, like somebody's squeezing my heart, So I'm not knowing where to go, not having enough money in my pocket, So we take a boat and we went to, Bangladesh. And from there, we, went to Malaysia, and then in Malaysia, there's a lot of Rohingyas living before me, So it's a labor-intensive country. It's a Muslim country, so people like to go there. The situation is better than Burma and Bangladesh refugee camps, So we go there, and we are living as as refugees. So I was arrested twice in Malaysia just because I don't have the documents. Malaysia is not a a UN signatory country that accept the refugees. So even you have a refugee cards, they don't respect that at that time, So you are subject for arrest. So I was got arrested, and then put behind the bar, and then UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, who are helping the refugees in Malaysia. So they come and interview us, and they help us get out from the detentions. And then after that, I was, hired by them. Since I was able to speak a little bit of English with them, they says, oh yeah, we have a lot of Rohingya population in Malaysia, and we need someone to communicate. So we would like you to hire as an interpreter. So since then, I was working as an interpreter with UNHCR and then with the US government, and then I was working there. So one day I got a call from their office, saying that, I was, they submitted my applications to US, and then I got a call for interview by the US government, So then, we did the interview, and resettlement for all the refugees is a very important thing, because all the refugees living in the transitional countries, they don't have future. The kids don't have future. They don't, they don't have jobs. They don't have means to live. So resettlement is a very important steps. And then once we are interviewed by the U.S. government, we are accepted, and then we are brought here. So I came here in 20, in the middle of 2015, I think. Yeah.
And then, Anwar, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Just in the sake of time, and we still want to make sure we touch on as much as we can, and we'll share the video here, just to keep us moving. Just, I know we're on a limited time crunch here. I'm so sorry to cut you off, Anwar.
It's okay.
Here in America,
Sorry, I think there's some buffering happening.
Here in America, I work as a medical interpreter and court interpreter. I'm one of the certified medical interpreter. I work for Advocate Rural Health, and I work for the Milwaukee court system. While I was in Burma, I was very fortunate to be able to learn some educations because of my father. I'm able to finish my degree, and then I had to flee from the country. I came to Malaysia, and in Malaysia, I worked, different low-level jobs. But my last job was with United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees as an interpreter. I was lucky to resettle to United States in the middle of 2015.
So you mentioned it was very difficult for Rohingya to access education in Burma. You were able to. What did your family have to do to get you through school? And can you tell us a little bit or some memories about what it was like to not only complete high school, which is a challenge in and of itself, but to then get a college degree and start working on a master's?
Many people are farmers, okay, and they cannot afford the educations, and also and there are a lot of discriminations too. So after you pass the high school, if you want to go for further studies, there is a lot of needs, documentations, money, and also a lot of other obstacles there. Only a few Rohingyas, a handful of Rohingyas, were able, to go to the college. I'm lucky enough that I'm able to study up to the university and finish my degree. Is because of my father. He spent a lot of money on my educations. I myself ran away a lot of times from the school. And then he grabs me and he says, no, you have to go to school, you have to study, and and then you will understand one day, what I'm doing this to you, And then now I remember him, I'm very thankful to him now. I understand the value of educations because of him,
Awesome. And thank you so much for continuing to share your journey, Anwar. And we'll now have a couple more slides with some pictures here and kind of keep it moving along here.
Yeah, most of these pictures are of Rohingya and their in flight or in a state of rebuilding. I think the picture in the upper right is refugee camps that were destroyed and that they're rebuilding, I think, right?
Yes, yeah, there's the refugee camps and they're building the parts.
And then the bottom right, the National Holocaust Museum did has a nice exhibit that was from there. You can go ahead and move to the next slide for time's sake. These are pictures mostly of Anwar early on, his first speech at UWM, when his brother was resettled. We were filming census video in the middle, the upper middle. Our first classroom where we taught English and would live translate between Rohingya and Burmese, which is neat, in our first little office. Yeah, you can go ahead and keep going.
All right, so this is our final video about Rohingya and Burmese now in Wisconsin.
Here in the United States, there are many different Burmese that have been resettled. Here in Milwaukee, we have established Rohingya and Karen and Chin and Cayenne, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some other groups. And they all speak their own language, right?
Mm-hmm.
typically these groups that were resettled to the United States, even though they're Burmese as a nationality, but most of them do not speak Burmese, the language. Is that right?
Yes,
Could you explain that?
it's correct. Burma is a very diverse country. As you mentioned, Burmese is a majority, is an ethnic minority, and Burmese is a language too. So and all others are minorities. So when you say we are serving Burmese people, that means you are referring to the people who come from Burma. I work with UN back in Burma, in Arakan State, in Yangon, in Malaysia, So half of my life is, work as an interpreter, So there's a huge language barrier. And, we create this so that, it becomes one-stop shop for these people so that they can come here for anything and for anything, for their religious needs, for their education needs, for their job needs, for their healthcare needs, for any needs, that we can provide to them, Diabetes, high cholesterol, nutritious foods, oral hygienes, all these things, are important topics, So we have a lot of people who has diabetes, who has high blood pressure and high cholesterol, sometimes there is confusion how to take the medicines, So all these things are important things to the community, and how to take the insulin, so how to check your blood sugar.
You essentially have to teach 101 everything, right?
Yes, that's why when these nurses, doctors, visit home, do the home visits, and teach them 101, I think that is the most effective way to relay the information. They are most reliant on the informations, that their doctors and their community members, say to them. For example, when they come to the doctors, in healthcare kind of things, the doctor explained to them in their languages so that they can understand. Okay. And then when they need to know other things, they come to us. They come to the center. We help them, and sometimes we make videos. For example, during the COVID-19 videos, we make a lot of videos in Rohingya and Burmese, and we released them, uploaded them on the YouTube or Facebooks, Women's, when we are living, back in the country, because of their culture and religions, our women live inside the house, taking care of their children and taking care of the house chores. So they never talk to a man, or examined by a man or checked, So this is part of their culture, But after we come here, for example, they are more comfortable to talk with a woman or female doctor. And even when it comes to the interpreter, they prefer a female interpreter, but there is no choice, Sometimes, they use the male. But one of the things, for example, I see many times in doctor comes in the room and wanted to shake hands, they don't shake hands, So don't take it as a rude kind of thing, because she is not shaking him because, it's her culture, You grow up here and she grew up there, So, touching man's hands is sinful, right? So this is what the culture teacher used. But the kids who are growing here, you go in and oh, I got it, they do this. And another thing is, I know that American people when they talk, they look at the eyes like this. But in our culture, it's rude. Mental health is non-existence in the Rohingya community because we never heard of these kind of things. Even we never, go to the doctor for the fever. Nobody talked before about this mental health. Only after we come here, we are realizing that all the refugees has some sort of mental health. Depressions, cannot sleep, or too much anxiety, all those kind of feelings. While we are living over there, we don't know. We have that, but we don't know.
It's almost as if that the situation is so tough, that there's so few options for Rohingya worldwide.
Yeah.
That you don't really have the luxury of considering mental health. It's just this is the status quo.
We're just a survival mode.
Perhaps it's your kids that are the next generation to come up might have a more, I guess, American approach to mental health and accessing those services and stuff.
Even the younger kids here, my 13 years old daughter, 11 years old daughter, and they use a big word in terms of mental health. Even I was surprised, oh, you see, when I grew up, I didn't know about this.
This is a unique experience to refugees, especially those coming from places where services aren't available. If you're resettled to the United States, when you arrive here, sometimes it's the first time that they've ever seen a doctor. And then they'll run a bunch of tests and stuff, and then they'll let them know for the very first time that you have these things. And so you have this kind of diagnosis depression. It's just kind of par for the course of coming here.
One thing I can tell you about the Rohingya people is they are very hardworking people. Because if you give them opportunity, they know how to grasp it and use it and make their life better for their family, for their community.
In terms of accessing services, accessing healthcare, financial services across the board, education for that matter as well, it's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and we hope to see.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. We should probably open it up to questions now. We can check out some of these pictures there. Thank you so much for listening and learning.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trent. Thank you.
Thank you both. Seriously, we are incredibly fortunate and lucky to have you guys both serve in our communities, and we're lucky that you were able to find time for us today too. That was incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.